Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to Indie, Please Add Details, Episode 8, or I can't think of what that is in Spanish off the top of my head. I was going to do that.
I always say
double quattro.
infinity if it's on its side.
You do.
Yeah.
My name's Keegan, one half Love 2 Gamers, hanging out with Tom, the other half Love 2 Gamers. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm a little bit tired. Stayed up late last night doing the Destiny raid, as you know. First time attempting it, like, blind, and then...
Got owned pretty hard, I understand.
Well, I mean, yes and no. We did all right. We had a few moments where it's just like, God damn. Like, it was always that, like, one little thing that screwed up and then you had to start over because you're like, it's over at that point,
Gotcha.
which kind of sucks. But this is not about Destiny. This is not a Destiny podcast. This is Indie Please Add Details. This is our weekly dip into the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week. We then top it all off with the topic of discussion. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast services, iTunes, Google Play. Thank you to those who do. Rate us on there if you do listen to it, and let us know. We have a lot of people on there.
I like those folks a lot.
I
I
like all of
don't
them
like
folks.
you.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, the audio folks are interesting because they don't ever really comment on anything. But
They're just passive.
You just know they're there and they're downloading, and we have really good stats on that.
Yeah.
So does well.
If you do want to see our lovely faces, you can head over to love2gamers.com. We also do have gameplay behind us in our lovely studio. Also, we have other stuff up there, including gameplay footage, reviews. 2 other podcasts that we do as well are going to be up there, as well as on podcast services.
This is true.
You can take it how you like. But let's get into Indie Please Add Details, because it's a doozy of a week, Tom. And I feel like Indie Please Add Details is not a week. There's not a week that goes by that we don't talk about this game. That game is Pubg.
Yep.
You ready?
Go for it.
Pubg, PS4. This is what everybody wants that has a PS4 and not an Xbox One. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds talks with Sony progress. That's a real bad title. Basically, we're talking to Sony right now.
Okay.
A Player Unknown's Battleground PS4 release is getting closer as developer Bluehole reveals it's currently in discussion with Sony. Speaking with Bloomberg, company founder Chang, I'm not even going to try his last name, Byung-yu, says that he's planning a PS4 release after the launch of the Xbox One version. The report states Chung says his company has had talks with all the major console companies, probably includes the Nintendo, but I don't think that'll happen because I don't think the Switch will be able to handle it, about bringing PUBG to a broader audience. Microsoft Corp will launch the title exclusively on Xbox One or Xbox later this year. Bluehole is in talks with Sony about introducing a version for that for PlayStation. So my thought on this now, because of this, is Xbox One's getting it as the game preview. And then once it goes full bore, full Monty, whatever full you want to use, once it becomes a
You mean
final
they're
game.
Getting the early access.
Yeah, once it becomes a final game, Sony will get the full game. I mean, Xbox will get the full game too, so they'll just update. So I think that's what's going to happen here because Sony, as much as I love Sony, they don't do early access.
Interesting
They
though
had art,
that
but-
Microsoft put all of that money behind the game to have it released on, unless they're making a cut. I mean, it seems that they have to be, don't they? If they're
I don't know.
producing it, they have to.
I would love. They're publishing it, so they're making a cut on Microsoft sales, not on other platforms.
But if they're publishing it
on Xbox,
just on Xbox,
the wording they've been using is publishing it on Xbox.
Okay.
So I don't know. I assume it's only Xbox, but I don't know because obviously I haven't seen the contract.
Right.
But the wording they've been using is publishing on Xbox. So it's interesting to see. I mean, let's be honest. For PUBG, they want to get the game on. We've talked about this before on as many platforms as possible.
Game.
It is the biggest game on Steam. It is past Dota.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I looked up earlier. The company's worth $4.6 billion.
Looks like a lot of fun. I wish I could have played it at some point. So I'm looking forward to this.
You'll be able to. So yes, getting closer to Sony. My guess is it's going to be early access on Xbox, and then when it comes full release, it'll come out on PlayStation. That being said, Microsoft is in talks to extend Battlegrounds exclusive deal.
Ah, damn. Those assholes.
The creator of the hit game PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is in talk with Microsoft Corp about extending their agreement to publish the game exclusively on Xbox, according to people familiar with the matter. South Korea's Bluehole Inc. has agreed to produce the game for Microsoft first by the end of the year and is likely to give the company a longer period as a solo console, said the people not wanting to be identified. Games are typically offered exclusive for about 3 months to encourage people to buy a particular console, so Xbox may have the game itself until the middle of next year or longer. And then it goes on to say PUBG has sold $13 million copies already, which is crazy. Microsoft has declined to comment on whether it's extended Xbox exclusivity. Right now, the team is solely focused on bringing the best game possible to Xbox One and PC. We have no further announcement at this time, said a spokesperson.
So, of course. I mean, it's hard to be mad about it because I didn't think it was coming to Sony at all. And then you had that last piece of news, and now it's like, well, like, if they paid...
I did it particularly in that order because that makes sense of why they would want to extend it, because Sony's trying to get in on it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But, I don't know. It's just kind of... I don't know. It just makes me mad. As a Sony fan, it makes me mad. As a Microsoft fan, I would be happy if only to rub it in the faces a little bit of my enemy.
Here's why I think Microsoft's doing it. And the reason I think Microsoft is doing it is because, to me, this game will sell Xboxes.
Oh, yeah.
Versus, like... I know people, like Cuphead just came out recently. I got it, and I've been playing it. And I know people that have bought an Xbox for Cuphead. We talk about, why do you buy one console over another? Mm-hmm. We say Xbox doesn't have exclusives. This is a big-ass exclusive to have. Granted, they didn't make it. Who says an exclusive has to be first party?
Yeah.
And that's where this comes in. So from Microsoft's perspective, I understand why they're doing it. As you said, as somebody who primarily plays PlayStation, it kind of sucks. But I get why Microsoft is doing it. I also get why Sony wants to get on the bandwagon, because this is a big-ass game.
As long as it gets there in the end, I'm alright with it. Like, I mean, if they want it for another couple months, whatever. If they're talking about a year exclusive, like they did, with Tomb Raider, that's a little bit more frustrating, because a whole year is a long time to wait, especially for the hype to die down on something. But then, having never been on PlayStation, then all the PlayStation players get to play at the same time. So hopefully it broadens the hype of the game. So I'm both sad and happy at the same time.
But you understand why they're doing it too. I mean, that's the other thing. Like,
unfortunately,
that's the business of consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you're going to sell it.
Business of business, really.
Yeah. Next one, Soma. You played that game.
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it.
Well, Soma has been downloaded over 650,000 times, and dev talks about 2 unannounced projects.
I mean, there was a lot of hype behind that game when it came in. I can see it reaching a big number of downloads. It was billed as an underwater horror tale. It wasn't everything I wanted it to be, but I did enjoy it. Like, I did think it was solid.
I think that's one of your first streams you did too, if I remember correctly.
My first attempt at a stream. Yeah.
Developer Frictional Games has revealed that its science fiction survival horror game Soma has been downloaded over 650,000 times in a little over 2 years it has been on the market. Released back on September 22nd, 2015 for PC, Mac, Linux, and PS4, Soma has notably been downloaded 400,000 times the same time last year, meaning it has racked up over 200,000 more downloads in the past year, which shows you that's crazy, because that's 50% of what they had the year before, the year it launched. So that's always a sign of a good game, is how long is the tail on it.
Longevity and the amount of people that are still talking about it. I feel like it went on sale a couple times.
Probably.
But not a lot. But it's definitely one of those ones that you
sales are how you get people back in. Even if it's like a 15%, 20% sale, it's like, oh, that's enough to get some people in.
Yeah. I mean, it was billed as the underwater amnesia, so.
Yeah. Frictional Games describes this as a very good result.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So would I.
They go on. According to Frictional Games, Soma has been a hit for the Swedish studio. Of the other 2 projects Frictional Games currently has going, one is in full production with about 80% of the staff, which is 16 people big, working on it. The focus of most of this year has been creating the first few maps of the game in order to create a solid vertical slice on experiments made last year. Frictional Games does not offer up any details on the project other than it will be horrific in nature and will likely get announced sometime during the first 6 months of 2018.
I like the sound of horrific in nature. I mean, if you're going to drop a clue as to what a game's going to be, that's a pretty intense... This game will be horrific.
In nature.
Enjoy.
Do you think it'll actually be in nature, or do you think it's just horrific nature?
No, I just think it's going to be gross.
Because that would be cool if it's horrific in nature.
They did scary pretty good in Soma. I think it'll just be gross. Maybe. Hopefully it's VR. That'd be really
I doubt it.
Yeah. Soma's fit for VR. Really fit for it.
But I doubt because the 16 people, resources.
Yeah.
As for the other project, it is going well, but it has been delayed a bit due to new tech taking longer than anticipated to develop. The upside has been this game has had more production time than any other in Frictional Games' previous titles, which has been incredibly valuable, and the project is tackling a variety of very difficult things. Details on this project are also scarce, but Frictional Games does say it will be less about a direct visceral horror and more about the player gaining understanding of different concepts. Release is described as being quite far off, and thus the developer warns that no concrete details will be shared anytime in the near future. This is according to DualShockers.
Also an interesting description there when they said it's not going to be a visceral horror, it's going to be about introducing players to different concepts. I'm thinking they might make you play a game through the eyes of someone you normally wouldn't play a game through or something like that. Like you are the guy that tortures everybody or something like that. I don't know. But
or VR.
Or VR.
Maybe that's why it's taking longer. In other news, Frictional's game, Amnesia, the collection, is free on PS Plus this month, so pick it up for October.
And it's got 3 games on it.
I will never play it. I'm going to download it and have it, but I will not. You paid for it, so
I did. I played a little bit of the original, and I just kind of got bored. So I'll have to try it again. It's definitely not one I can play when I'm sleepy. It's too like it's all like old English castles and stuff, and I'm just like, can't do it.
I'm going to reorder our news here because transitions are things I think about. So we're going to end on Nintendo news, but we're going to do one more thing before we get to Nintendo land.
Go for it.
Fortnite's Battle Royale mode has 1 million players on its first day. Did you hear the controversy about this from PUBG?
They thought that basically...
They copied.
That they copied them,
yes. But they came out and said, you copied. Fortnite is the only game on consoles that offers a Battle Royale mode, so it's no wonder that it has had a strong start. Of course, the Fortnite's Battle Royale mode is completely free, so it doesn't require buying into early access version of Fortnite. Available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, the free Battle Royale version has already attracted 1 million players. I've downloaded it, not played it yet, because it was free.
Here's the thing, okay? So Fortnite itself is not similar in nature to how you play PUBG.
Correct.
You're building a fort and surviving the night. That's the game. So adding a Battle Royale element to it is, not the first time that's ever been done in games, ever. So PUBG, I think, are skating on thin ice with saying, oh, this is our idea, because MAG and all those games back in the day had battle royales, but also I think it's kind of shitty of them to care, because like they're the ones withholding their game from the platform. So like if we get something that's kind of similar that people can enjoy, the fuck does that matter to you? That's kind of my thought. I know I can understand the flip side of the coin, like you said, the business side, where they're just taking money away.
They're like,
hey, but I don't think that people playing Fortnite are contending with the same people playing Battlegrounds.
Correct. I think when I look at like PUBG, I look at like CS:GO people.
Yeah.
I look at
I would never play
SOCOM
Fortnite,
people,
but I will definitely play PlayerUnknown, because Fortnite to me looks like Minecraft.
I'm one that's into both. Like I love the art style of Fortnite, so I'll give it a try, but I'm more intrigued by PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, if that makes sense. Like I feel like that'll grip me longer, but I will try, especially because it's free, Fortnite, the Battle Royale mode.
Yeah. Do you have the original game?
No.
So you have to get that first anyway.
No, you don't. It's free. Did you not read?
I thought it was an update to the original game.
No, of course. The Battle Royale mode is completely free, so it doesn't require buying into early access of the version of Fortnite. Available on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
I should probably pick that up, though.
I told you. That's why I picked it. I downloaded it free, and I just don't
really... I still don't want to build a fort.
You don't have to. It's a battle. It's a shoot. It's not build a fort. It's completely separate from the game that they've released.
Huh.
It is literally go in and shoot people. Like, you can build a fort if you want to. Like, that option is still there, but that's not how you, from what I've seen, how you play that mode.
Okay.
So you can do that, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because you will die. Like, you could hide in the corner if you wanted to, but that's no fun. You can do that in PUBG, too.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I still stick by my guns on that one.
Now on to the Nintendo news. There's a couple of them that I think you might like. Telltale thinks its games are a perfect match for the Switch.
Yeah.
A few Telltale games, that's weird because Telltale Games is the title. A few Telltale Games recent series will soon make their way to the Nintendo Switch. Telltale's various adventure games are well written, not well read apparently, engaging and easily consumed in bite-sized or full-length play sessions. For this reason, it's no wonder the studio is excited to bring the games to the Nintendo Switch, with a few releases already planned. No series is out of the question for us to bring to the Switch, Creative Communications head Job Stauffer. Is his name Job Stauffer?
Where is it?
Job Stauffer? That's his name.
Yeah, Job Stauffer.
Good old Job Stauffer told MCV.
You thought his name was...
Job. I was like, wait a second.
Job is a real name.
Yes. Oh, I know. It's a biblical name.
Yeah.
So, we'll be examining everything and hopefully making a lot of fans happy. Plain and simple, Nintendo Switch is a perfect platform for Telltale. Development has been seamless and perfectly suited to everything that we do.
Unsurprisingly.
Stauffer continued by suggesting Telltale's first Batman season will probably be its next Nintendo Switch release. Once that's completed, the studio will move on to Guardians of the Galaxy and Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. The complete version of Minecraft's first season has already been ported to the Switch. So it sounds like, nothing's off. I'm sure Walking Dead potentially will be coming.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that.
I've had a binge on Telltale recently. I've had a few.
I played Borderlands or half of Borderlands.
Yeah, that wasn't one of their best. But, I mean, I don't know. I sat down recently and I was like looking for something to dig into that I could do in like 2-hour chunks. And I thought, oh yeah, I haven't played a Telltale game in a while. So I fired up Season 3 of The Walking Dead, which was incredible as usual. The Walking Dead series of Telltale is one of my favorite games of all time. And then I also thought I would fire up Batman. So I just started Batman. I'm 2 episodes in because there's 2 seasons of that. So I thought that would be good. Yeah. Because if I like the first one, I can just dig straight into the second one. But yeah, that's been really good so far. I've enjoyed that a lot as well. So yeah, big
Stuffer
awesome
does
news.
hesitate, saying Walking Dead port was not in the cards just yet. I don't think we're in much as of rush right now because we're looking into earlier seasons might require some additional effort to bring our content up to speed and up to Nintendo standards.
Because they'd have to probably update.
I think what they're going to do is going forward probably is what it sounds like. The ones that are currently going on, because I think Walking Dead they got to be either done or almost done with.
They have 3 seasons and 1 side season.
Yeah, but they're not doing any more. I don't believe.
I think they are.
Are they? I can't remember 4. If they announced it. Yeah,
because I don't think they announced it, but the end of season 3 was there's a 4th one coming.
Because that would be.
They will.
That would be my only thought.
They'll do it. It's just going to take extra time. Like you said, you're porting older games on older code and everything, so I'm sure it just takes more resources. So they'll start with the ones that are new, that are already kind of designed to work on a Switch, and then they'll go backwards.
Last bit of news. Stardew Valley is coming to Nintendo Switch. This is straight off their website, stardewvalley.net. Hi everyone, I have exciting news. Big bold letters. Stardew Valley will be coming to Nintendo Switch on October 5th, 2017. That is tomorrow if you have a Nintendo Switch. I'm very happy to see Stardew Valley come to a Nintendo console. I grew up on Nintendo after all. This will not only be the first time Stardew Valley appears on a Nintendo platform, but the first time Stardew will be on a portable system. The Switch version will be priced at $14.99. I'd like to give a big shout out to Sickhead Games, who worked very hard to develop this port. They did a great job, and as always, deserve all the credit. I'd also like to thank my publisher Chucklefish for coordinating everything. I look forward to hearing about your experience with Stardew on the go this Thursday.
That'd be a good.
Thanks for playing, Concerned Ape.
It would be a good rapper name. That.
What, Sickhead or
Sickhead
Chucklefish and Concerned Ape?
Yeah,
it's like the NWA group.
Chucklefish confirmed 8.
So
album.
I'm excited about this because Stardew Valley to me always felt. I mean, it feels like an old Nintendo game. It looks a lot like Link to the Past. I would say probably is the closest. I mean, the original Zelda looks a lot like that too.
I mean, it's prettier. But
but that's the feel I get from it. And this game I've yet to jump in because it's like crack from what I hear, and you know how I feel about crack. Once I get in crack, it's going.
I mean, Destiny is your crack right now.
Dude, Destiny is destroying me. But yeah, I'm excited that this is coming because this game did really well on PC, did really well on PS4, Xbox, on every platform that's been on. It makes sense to be on a Nintendo platform.
I'm not in your shoes. I've never played it. I've heard nothing but good things. I've always looked at it when I'm in the stores or whatever and kind of go,
The only concern I have with it on the Switch is how long. I don't know how long play sessions go and like what the management system is like.
That was going to be my point as well, is that it's not like a bite-sized nugget type deal. It's an RPG. But then again, there's a lot of RPGs that are doing spectacularly well on the Switch right now. So,
and indie games, as we learned last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, that indie games you want to be on the Switch.
You want to, in general, I think, just put in more save points. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Or just do Fallout 4 quick saves. I don't know how the game functions. I'm not playing it yet, so I can't really speak to it. So, that being said, let's jump into our spotlights. That was our news for the week. Let's recap though. Bluehole, PUBG's in talks with Sony. Microsoft in talk with Bluehole, aka PUBG, to extend their contract exclusivity. Soma has been downloaded over 650,000 times, and 2 new projects coming out. Telltale thinks it's a perfect match for Switch. Fortnite's Battle Royale mode has over 1 million players, and Stardew Valley is coming to Switch.
There you go.
Nailed it. Cool. Spotlights this week. I've got like 1.5 because I feel like the last couple weeks you've had like 1.5.
Sure.
So I feel like I'd share. Yeah, I mentioned earlier I played Cuphead.
Yeah.
And Cuphead, and I don't want to do like a full review. This is gonna be my half one because you can go watch IGN, you can go watch GameSpot, you can go watch all the big guys because they've covered it really well. But my feeling of it, because as you mentioned, I was like, do I want to cover it on the show? Because everybody's going to do. You're like, well, you love those cartoons, and that's what got me into it and all this kind of stuff. So, from an aesthetic standpoint, from a visual standpoint, it is the most interesting game I have ever played because I feel like I'm watching a TV show that I can control, which is weird to say because there's the analogy back in the day where video games are basically a form of media that you are in control of. And I've always felt that, but to me, video games has always been separate from movies, separate from TV because of the way they look and kind of the function of them. If you look at like a TV show, it's either live action, and even the 3D modeling that they use on TV shows is different than 3D modeling they use in video games for the most part. There's some that it crossed over a little bit. But it's amazing, the visuals. Like, I feel like I'm watching one of those old style cartoons from between basically 30s. The 20s through the 40s. Like the Bugs Bunny style. I don't know how else to describe them, but it is amazing. That being said, it is the hardest fucking game I have ever played, but I don't care. Like, that's the weird part is like so there's video of it up on our YouTube channel, and fun fact, it took me 45 minutes to record that one level, and because halfway through I kept dying because when I put the videos up on for the gameplay, I wanted to do a flawless run or as close to flawless as possible, so you don't see me die 50 times. So when I was playing at one point, like the 30-minute mark, I was like, I literally turned the Xbox off. I'm like, I'm going to set the controller down. I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back and finish because, dude, it was. And it wasn't because it wasn't well, some of it felt a little unfair. The mechanics of the game, basically, the first level is called run and gun. And you run and you gun. The problem I had with it were the controls were a bit wonky. So the gunning was fine. Aiming was a bit weird because it's just the 45-degree angle aiming. So if you're not right in the right spot, you can't hit somebody, which is fine. It's like the old school video. Yeah, feel. It is. But the hardest part for me, and as you know, we're close with Able Gamers, and I thought about this while playing it, was the control system is obviously left stick's run, A is jump, and then to dash. So you have to do a jump, and then Y is a dash across a hole.
Right.
And that to me was a weird thing to get in my head. I was like, why am I pushing Y? Like, double jump is always AA. Like, it's always what it is. It's always that bottom button. You hit that once, hit it twice, you'll do the thing. What AA is, besides Alcoholics Anonymous, is a parry. So you jump on the characters. If you get close, you hit A again, you'll bounce off them, you can jump on and continue going that way. Once I got that down, the game became so much easier.
Gotcha.
So that helped in that point, but the other thing you have is power-ups that help over time. You have 3 hit points per level to get through, which is fair, because especially on the first one. I've played a couple levels since. They're just as hard, but it doesn't. The difficulty didn't ramp up that much. I've not made it to a boss yet. I'm interested to see the bosses.
Because they're supposed to be like the game was originally just bosses, wasn't it?
I'm interested to see what that's like. But man, this game, like, I've never had a game that's made me so angry, but I'm so excited to play at the same time, other than maybe The Division back in the day. But that's a game I got angry when I'd already spent hundreds of hours in. This one, within the first 20 minutes, I was like, ooh, buddy.
It just has that, like, I rented this from the store and I'm going to get my fucking money's worth, like, retryability factored to it. Like, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
And I suppose a lot of it is just practice makes perfect. That's what retro games, you just did it over and over again.
I think, so like I said, the big complaint are the control scheme, and I wish you could change it, but you can't from what I saw. I could be wrong. If you guys know, if you can, let me know, because I would gladly love to change it. But I looked in settings, didn't see it anywhere. And then the other thing is aiming. Sometimes when you have so on the first level you have platforms you got to jump from, and then they have a little blue blob. I don't call them, but it's a blue blob that just goes across on a platform that you have to land on.
Okay.
So if you shoot him, he goes down. You can land on it safely. Probably could parry him now that I think about it, but I didn't think to that at the time. I tried to shoot him, but hitting him, like jumping up, hitting him while he's in the perfect spot was not easy.
Gotcha.
So they also have mini rooms throughout. It's an overworld. It reminds me of like Donkey Kong Country. What's the one with Trixie? Is that 2 or 3?
3, I think.
Whatever. Yeah, whichever one. Yeah.
Because Diddy was the second one.
No, Diddy was in the first one.
But he was like a big part of it. I
Maybe.
don't think you can play him. Could you?
Yeah, you can play him in the first one. I don't know. Whatever one has Trixie Kong in it.
Gotcha.
It felt like that overworld where it's like you can go anywhere you want, but there's certain places that have levels.
Gotcha.
And I like that aspect of it. So that's my take on Cuphead. It's amazing. It's frustratingly
it's 2
hard.
player as well, right?
It is 2 player. You can do Cuphead and Mughead.
Mughead.
Like a coffee mug
Yeah.
is the other one. So the art style is amazing. The devil's amazing. Like if you like platforming games, I would say pick this up unless you're a casual player. So if I say you like platforming games, I'm not just talking about Mario. If you like Super Meat Boy, if you like those kind of the ones that you're gonna play the level over and over again. Yes.
Saying. Yeah.
Yes.
But it is super pretty.
Yes.
Everything I saw, I watched your 10-minute gameplay and it looked beautiful.
Yes.
Makes me jealous. I wish that I could give it a shot, but
you can. I bring
know,
the Xbox over.
It takes forever.
It doesn't take forever.
But I think playing 2-player would be a lot of fun. So maybe we'll just get a second controller and have a session.
Yeah.
Maybe go stream it or something. But it looks gorgeously made. It reminds me, it's almost like that Howard Halibut game where you're instantly so struck by the art style that you almost don't care what the game is about.
Yes.
So
I mean, you care what the game is about, but the art style is why you're drawing.
Yeah, if it's good, then it helps. But it's so unique in that factor.
Because if the game was to the point where because I felt like I made progress every time. Right. I didn't feel like it was just. There was one part where I got stuck at a wall, but that's because in a game in those type of games where you're like, I'm gonna accept them to take a hit point here because I can't do this section. There's a way to do it, but I can't do it.
Right.
So I accept to take a hit point. So that's where the 3 comes in, and eventually I figured it out, and I was like, okay, I'll save the hit point here. I'll use it down at the end and make it.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the spotlight I want to go more in depth in
go for it.
Is N++. And for those of you who know, N++ is out on every single platform now. It released today. The reason I'm spotlighting is it released today. Well, yeah, today when you're listening on Xbox One. And we were lucky enough to get an early copy of N++ from the developers. So thank you guys so much. We were able to jump in and play the crap out of that game. And man,
I know nothing of this game, so you're going to have to fill in some gaps for me.
So
I ordered it because I knew that you might like it.
So I'm trying to think of the best one to describe it to. Well, it's very similar to Ink that we did last week, and it's very much a me game when it comes to platformers. So you're this little stick man. I think his name's Turtle. Okay. I can't remember.
Fair enough.
I think his name's Turtle, and you just have these glowing yellow orbs of light you've got to collect, and you have a timer at the top that ticks down. When you collect the orbs, your timer goes back up, and then you have a switch to open a door, and then obviously as the levels progress, it gets more and more and more and more hard. With more enemies, more objects, or objects in the way, more things to jump around, more platform elements of going wall to wall, bouncing off things, going that way, springboards come into play, that type of thing. So it's a lot of fun. It's completely different from Cuphead. It's more laid back. It's a more chilled experience.
Traditional indie puzzle.
Yeah, it's definitely, the music was very, very beautiful for what it was. It's probably some of the best music.
What genre was it?
It's electronic style. Like it's a neon game. The first, you wouldn't tell by the first world. The first world is pretty gray, but there's a bunch of neon levels that happen later on, and it fits the game perfectly. Is kind of the only way I can say. Yeah, it definitely has that feel. Like this is you. No other soundtrack would have fit as well as this one did. And the progression, as you know, with any platform, I always talk about progression. If you learn A, okay, you go A, you play a couple levels with A, you then learn B, you do a couple levels with B, okay, you do a level that has A and B, do that for a couple times, and you learn C, then you do a couple of levels that have A and C, and then you have one with A, B, and C, and go on from there. And it kept going and getting harder and harder. There was one level I couldn't figure out, and I actually cut it from the gameplay, because I couldn't figure out how to get past it, and I want to go back and try. But basically, there's 2 lasers on the side, and there's these little, I'm gonna call them flowers because they look like they're like mines, but they look like flowers. That you had to somehow get up and jump in the middle of the room as the switch to open the door. But what I had been doing to that point is jumping off walls to get up there. But if I touch the lasers, I die, which are blocking the walls. And if I touch the flowers, I die. So I didn't see anything that could activate something else unless I missed like a hidden platform or something like that. Because hidden platforms did come in later on. And then I realized that, so maybe that is what was in that level that I didn't notice before, but I couldn't get past that level. But the cool thing is they're divided into worlds. So you can play World 1, and you have World 1A, they have World 1. So A goes through 5 or 6 stages, and then you have B goes through 5. And you can jump between A and B. To get into World 2, though, you have to, like any other game, you have to have a certain number of stars or a certain number of things before you can get to the next world. So it's a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. I'm going to double check price here because I don't know it off the top of my head.
Do they explain why it's called N++?
Because N and N plus are the prequels.
Oh,
it's the final version of this series that's been going on for a while.
I kind of when I read about it, I thought it was just like a weird code name or something. Like I didn't know it was an actual sequel to something else that was already pre-existing.
No, it's a sequel. So I'm gonna double check here price for you.
Okay. But this is Xbox One today.
It's on Xbox One, Windows, and PC, but Xbox One comes out today.
Today.
PS4 has already been out last year. I don't know when they released it. Let me go and pull up the press kit, as one does.
I want to say it's man, my voice. I want to say it's in the region of like 15 to 20. I don't.
$20.
Yeah.
$20. So it came out. Here's your release date. So if you want it on PC, it came out July 28th, 2015. Oh no, that's PS4. August 25th, 2016 on PC and Mac, and October 4th, 2017 for Xbox One. I wonder why there was such long in between.
I don't know.
I wonder if they were just
partnering up, I guess.
Partnering up, or just were like, hey, is our game is going to be worth putting money over there? Because it's interesting they came out on PS4 first. Yeah. I find that one quite interesting. Usually, as we talk about, it's PC first.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just a case of it's another indie game that Xbox would like to have available on its platform, and it's been out for a while now, so they can go ahead and
it's new to those people. Like, I had not played any of the versions of this game. I knew of it because there's a YouTuber called NerdCubed who's played it, and I watched him play it. But other than that, like, I've not played it, and it was weird getting used to the jumps because the jumps are very floaty, but you also have. I'm not going to call it a double jump because it's not what it is, but it's a light press and then a long press.
Gotcha. A
light press, obviously, you jump shorter. Long press, you jump further. And there's one level that I played that had basically triangle platforms throughout the level that you jump from one to the other to the other. And it always feels like I can jump farther than I think I can. So, like, there was one where I had to jump from basically the right side of the screen to almost all the way to the left side of the screen, and I was like, I can't make that jump. There's no way. But you do a long jump, and it feels like a booster going on. So you jump, and then it picks up, and you land. You're like, fine. The only complaint I had with stuff like that is the landing. If you slide, like when you land, there's momentum, so you'll slide. So you got to make sure you land on the beginning part of it, which sucks because sometimes you'll hit the edge and then you'll fall back down. And you're like, well, do it again. But it was a lot of fun. The time I put into it, I played this probably for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Had some fun with it. Played it outside of the recording we did just to.
Yeah, and we do have a recording and a review. Your review. I haven't watched it yet. I'm excited to hear it.
You can play solo, or co-op with friends, or competitive. They also have a level editor, so I didn't jump into that, but there's a whole level editor that you can jump into, and I'm excited to see what people make because that's where the game like this gets legs.
Is the co-op 4-player online or?
I don't know how many it is. I want to say it's 2.
2-player
online?
But
I'm not 100%. It doesn't tell me.
Or is it couch?
There's couch and online.
Oh, cool.
There's both.
That's cool.
So you can play local or competitive. There's also leaderboards, and I told you this yesterday when I got it because the game isn't out yet. And it's like, oh, you're in the top 10. I was like, I wonder how many people have played this game. Am I number 9 of 9, or am I like 9 of 20 or 9 of 100? Like, where am I at? Where am I at in this game? Not that matters to me, but I just found it interesting because I had that realization afterwards.
Nice to be in there, though.
But yeah, that's N++. It's $20 on Xbox One, PS4, or PC if you still haven't picked it up yet. But it comes out today. Did I mention today on Xbox One?
Cool.
Best place to play games according to Xbox because it's the box they sell.
I couldn't imagine they would think so.
Yeah, could you imagine coming out, going on stage at E3, be like, you know where you should play your games? PlayStation. That'd be awesome. What do you got?
I got an awesome exclusive Switch game, which is
our first Switch game I think we've done.
We did Octopath Travel.
Oh yeah, we did that. Well, that was a demo. So this is the first
full game. And I did it for a couple of reasons. One, because I was torn between what indie game I wanted to do. I had a discussion with a friend at work, and he suggested that I try this.
This game's getting a lot of praise, too. Yeah. Like, it's weird that there's 2 golf games out right now that are getting a lot of praise.
They're killing it, yeah. But I was going to play Ruiner for PS4, but then, I'm not a big fan of the top-down twin-stick shooter genre, but everything about that game aesthetically, looks good except for the genre. So I opted instead to take my buddy's advice and go for Golf Story on the Switch. Golf Story is a golf RPG, which is what Rory McIlroy
technically is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... it's not a golf RPG in terms of like, you know, grind and earn gear like a normal golf game. It's an RPG in like the truest term.
Is an RPG with golf elements versus a golf game with RPG elements.
Just imagine Zelda with golf courses all over it, and that's basically what you're thinking about. So like I had a couple things to compare it to, but yeah, I mean there's an interesting cast of characters in the game. The dialogue is perfect. I want to say it's written by English people because they use lots of mate and your and all that kind of stuff.
Could be Australian.
It could be Australian. But the humor level is really good. It's almost like Undertale level humor, but also they manipulate the speech boxes quite a lot. So like when they're yelling, like the speech box is shaking, and like they really play with it. You know?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of exploring and just walking around, talking to randos. Randos will ask you to help out. One such side quest was there was a baby in the river in the golf course area.
Like just chilling in the river?
With floaties on.
Okay.
And,
it's like just face down in the water.
Drowning. No,
yeah.
not that dark. No, they had like a little
I was like, Nintendo wouldn't allow that.
And you see this kid's mom on the side of the thing, and she's like, there's alligators in that water. And which were, again, Nintendo settled down. But yeah, there's alligators in the water, so you have to try and get his attention. So you yell at him, and he doesn't hear you. So what do? I mean, you're a golf player, so you go and you tee up somewhere, and you swing a golf ball at this kid's head. You hit him, then he goes, whoa, and then like comes back to shore, and he doesn't get eaten by an alligator, so your golf skills save his life. But it's there's lots of that kind of stuff. There's like literally what do we call them? Tee boxes? What was the official?
T-mounds.
T-mounds.
We learned that from everybody's. I called them tee boxes. I'm still going to call them tee boxes.
Well, T-box, T-man, whatever. They're littered all over the place, and you can just play a hole if you feel like it, or there's an actual course. There are multiple courses to write the game as you move on and deeper. But it's just so twee. It's just so nice, you know, like like I said, your protagonist is not necessarily the most interesting character. Like he's just kind of like Joe Nobody. But it's the other people around that you start to get kind of.
Do you get to name your character at all? Like what's the character since it's RPG?
No character creation, none of that. It's the RPG elements come more from like the traditional like actually exploring and finding challenges and side quests.
So exploration RPG versus.
Correct.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, I haven't even noticed a way to like up my skills that heavily. Well, I mean, they're not terrible, but like when you do get your skills leveled up, they balance it to fuck with you. So like if you put all of your skill points into power, then everything else you have goes down, and you're like, well, shit, now I got to balance those back up, you know, because I wanted the power, but I didn't think it would fuck up everything else.
Which makes sense because you're trying to like theoretically you're trying to swing harder, so your accuracy is going to go off.
Which was a nice touch, I thought. But yeah, I mean, you meet a lot of cool people in there. There's a lot of in jokes. There's like the courses are littered with like weird obstacles. So there's like moles that'll just hang out on the course, and if you hit the ball too close to them, they'll get out of their hole, they'll grab the ball and then just throw it in a bunker or something. So
they're the assholes of the world.
Yeah, so there's like, you know, there's other things, but those ones were particularly annoying. And the putting is so-so. The putting is always a big important part of a golf game, but in this one it's really hard to read the green, because when you're playing a traditional golf game like everybody's or McElroy or whatever, you know, you can kind of you get advice from your caddy, or you can read the lines of the green or whatever it is. This one is just like every green looks exactly the same because it's flat and top down, and it would just say like, oh, there's a slight, you know, sledge going this way, and but you have to guess the rest. So it is traditional 3-tap button play for golf, so it's like everybody's golf. It's like you hit it once to move it, twice for power, 3 to stop it on a precision point. And you know, if you hit all those things equally, then you get a really good shot. If not, then that's when you're going to slice it or hook it or whatever. But yeah, man, it was a whole lot of fun, unexpectedly.
No pun intended. A whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun, and like you can like straight up like hit that. You know, you can hit hole-in-ones in this game. Like they're not like beyond the realms of fantasy or whatever. Like I've never done a hole-in-one in any other game, but this one I did one within my first couple hours of play, and I was like, ooh, that's like, it made me happy.
Rare, because I've done one in Roy on a par 3.
Yeah.
But that was like dumb luck.
Right. It is, and like, so you can actually hit the posts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But people will challenge you to do cool shit. Like, we're gonna go onto that green, but we have to bounce it off the road first or something. So then you have to like aim it so it bounces on the road and goes into the green. So I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. It's the story is starting to pick up now. You're basically you start off as a kid learning how to play golf with your dad. You grow up, and then you decide after 20 years that you want to leave your wife and become a golf pro. So you go back to where you learnt with your dad, and you start basically asking people for help, but they don't want to help you because everyone's an asshole in this game. So, and you kind of working from there, and that's pretty much the start of the story. But yeah, I had a really good time with it.
Did you play mainly mobile or docked?
I played it completely docked.
Okay.
Mostly for recording purposes, but I would be happy to play it mobile. I think
like you don't think screen real estate won't be an issue? Is kind of the question.
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
No.
That's my only, because it's a top-down golf game, so I was like, I don't think it'll matter. But
no, because it still shifts you to like where the ball's landing, and you have a lot of manipulation you can do to that ball. Like you can choose the exact part of the ball you want to hit it on. You can choose where the like precision shots where you like say, okay, I want it. If you say I want it to land here and not there, then the diamond that you're trying to hit on your like 3-tap thing like will move, and then you can be like, okay, that's what I'm aiming for, or they need to go a bit past that or whatever. So the level of control is surprisingly good for a top-down golf game that doesn't really have an awful lot going for it graphically, but the RPG elements of it, the JRPG elements of it are awesome. You know, it's just a really fun game, and it's basically just take an RPG and replace combat with golf. And that's what they've done, and it's actually surprisingly good. So for fans of obviously everybody's golf or Hot Shots golf, but also like people that enjoy Dragon's Quest or one of those types of games, or just miss the old days of top-down Zeldas and top-down Final Fantasies and that kind of stuff. Really worth picking up, and the fact that it's an exclusive to Switch and only $15 is like that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So if you have a Switch and you've been like, okay, I have Rabbids, I have Mario Kart 8, I have Zelda, I have Splatoon, whatever, but you want something that
in
just,
between
just
to hold
small,
you off, something to hold you off till Odyssey comes.
Something to hold you off till Odyssey that's actually exclusive to Switch, not a first-party title, but definitely interesting. I would recommend Golf Story very highly, and there's a review that you can watch with my complete thoughts and some images too.
Cool. Hopefully they're images of the game and
they are
not just you.
Yeah, they weren't just me in the shower. It was I decided to put game footage in there.
Yeah, I decided to do that
just to help.
So let's move on to our discussion, and it kind of has to tie into what we've been talking about pretty much this whole episode.
What's that?
Between the news and between what you just said, does having a game released early on one console versus another change where you potentially will buy the game? Example I used is PUBG coming to Xbox first. Rumor is coming to PlayStation. Nintendo Indies. If there's a bunch of games that have already come out on PS4 and Xbox, would you buy it again on Switch?
I think there's a lot of factors. And that is that each console does have unique elements that are just to it. So, for example, PlayStation has PSVR. Now, even if you don't use the VR system, you have that. If you have one, you have the ability to play in like cinema mode, or like you get some enjoyment out of doing those different ways of playing the game. And also your friends, like do you have more friends on PlayStation than you have on Xbox? Who has the game more? With something like Switch, their niche of course is that you can take that anywhere you want to go. So if they release a game and it's out on all three at the same day and one of them's a Switch version, if it's a type of thing that I'd want to play on the go, I'd probably go for the Switch version, unless they're like the PS4 Xbox ones are superior in some way. If it's an indie game, then we're probably going Switch on it because that's what it's made for. So yeah, it's a weird one, because I think initially buying the original console, like you said, and this was your reasoning, I believe, was just that you had more friends buying that console. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to a game, it's almost the same thing.
I still prefer, and I will stand behind this, I still prefer the Xbox exclusives over the Sony exclusives when they do release, because that's what I enjoy the Western style.
Though, yeah, that's you're not a big fan of all the weird Japanese shit.
Yeah, that's
all that kind of stuff.
But I went to PlayStation because that's where my friends were, and right. I'm a social gamer, and I play 99% third party, so it doesn't really matter. It's all cross platform.
But yeah, I think it's a lot to do with that. Xbox hasn't. I mean, aside from the power factor with the Xbox One X, I don't think they really have anything that makes them stand out at this point. So
Cuphead.
Well, no, game-wise, I'm happy for them there. But like as far as the play experience, like unless you just prefer the controller or you
I
like the UI or whatever it is.
UI.
That kind of stuff. But those are the things that it boils down to. I think time-wise, I'm a patient gamer. I'm not necessarily having to buy everything that they have released. The only reason why I ever buy games fast is for the show. If it's like, if I have to buy this now to record it this week to get it available next week, then I'll buy it. But I will hold out. Like Danganronpa 3 came out. As much as I wanted to jump on that and grab it, I knew that it would be on sale at some point. I didn't want to spend $60 and I can hold off. I have a
I mean, look, that's Metal Gear Solid 5 for me. I'm like, I'm never going to pay for this game. It's now free this month. I might actually play it now.
It worked out, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, unless it's something that I am just like absolutely freaking out over, like the next big game that I'm like super excited for is Call of Duty. Yes, no, not Call of Duty. Call of Cthulhu, the version they're making of that. So if that got like a year-long heads up on Xbox, I would probably look into it.
Came to first on Xbox.
But yeah, but if it's like just a month or whatever, like the Call of Duty map packs never used to bother me when Xbox got those.
Well, that's like, so for me, a couple games I've played that this is an issue is Division was the big one. Everything came first on Xbox for the Division. And you know, if you guys haven't listened at all for any sort of amount of time, I put over 400 hours into the Division. And as shitty as that game is technically with a lot of bugs, I absolutely loved it. But it always drove me crazy because I'd always hit the ceiling of like, okay, I'm done. I can do the same stuff over and over again. I hope I get something new, but the gear's already high. Once you're high enough level, you're not going to... The odds of getting something better are super slim. So at some point, like, why... The point of the return on investment is I'll use a business word, of the amount of time I'm putting in versus what I'm getting back is not worth it, so I'll go to somewhere else. And it sucked because I would see the Xbox guys, and like you said, selfishly for the show, couldn't do it because the Xbox guys got it first. I was like, well, I want to play that, but I have to wait a month. That to me kind of sucks. PUBG would be a perfect example that I would probably buy on both platforms. And the only reason I would buy it first, if it came out on the same day on both PS4 and Xbox, I don't think it's coming to Switch. I'm fairly confident that won't happen. If it came out same day on both, I would go PS4 because that's where my friends are. But because it's coming out early on Xbox, I will probably get it there because I have friends on Xbox that said, hey, we'll play together. I've been wanting to play this game. I've watched so many streams. I've watched so many people play it on PC, and I wish, kind of like Youth Counter-Strike, I kind of wish I could keyboard and mouse just for this game.
But getting there, guys. I'm buying the gear.
He got the mouse pad today.
I got the mouse pad. I got the mouse on the way. The keyboard's next week. I'm going to learn, man. I will record some gameplay when I'm good, which will be in about 2 years.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky.
But that's where it comes in, is like, that and maybe it's just me being dumb about this, but I want to play that game so badly right now that I will pick it up early, and then if David, if Brian, if you, for whatever reason, we pick it up on PS4 and to stream it or whatever it may be, like, I will have no issue picking up that game again, assuming when I play that game I enjoy it as much as I watch people playing it.
What's the period of time that would be acceptable to you, though? Because let's say you've been playing it for 8 months. And you're burned out on it. Would you still pick it up for PS4?
That does not matter to me because I'm playing with my friends.
Gotcha.
That's the selling point if on PS4.
So
if it was the other way around,
the game for you.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, say it was the other way around. It came out first on PS4, and I wanted to buy it on Xbox just for the channel or whatever it may be. And again, I have friends on Xbox that said they'd play with me. And the good news is squads are only 4, so it's easy to get people. I probably would be burned out then. Granted, I'm playing with a different set of friends, but it's weird to explain because they're not my normal friends I play with. Like, I play with David, I play with Brian, I play with Nate, I play with these people pretty much daily, it feels like sometimes. And that's where I get in. And that's why, like, so Destiny 1, you know how much I hated the first Destiny, I hated vanilla Destiny. The reason I kept jumping back in was because everybody I knew was playing it. And I was like last night I played, you don't know who Wrath is, but I played with Wrath, who is the guy who helped teach me about Destiny 1 later on. He joked last night, he's like, yeah, the fact you're not jumping 2 years into this probably gives you a better understanding of what's going on. Because that was the problem I had before, is I jumped in so late with people with what was going on. Yeah. So that's kind of like, that's where I stand on it. As there are games that will do it, but not all games. It depends on the game. Like you said, if I'm excited for it, I will do it.
Case by case.
Yeah,
basis.
if it, like Tomb Raider, I didn't care because I was going to pick it up either way. I heard it's a real good game.
You know what? I was super upset about it taking a year, but honestly, since I've gotten it, I haven't played it.
And you got the Game of the Year edition too on.
Yeah, for the VR too.
Yeah,
but I'm actually gonna dig in.
Yeah, that's the other thing is. So, do you think you didn't play it because?
I think I didn't play it because it's disc based. And I know it sounds shitty, but like,
Can we go back to like 6 months ago when we had the digital versus physical media?
I still love the physical media to have it and to hold until death do us part. But I don't really do the trade-in thing anymore. Like I'm kind of like I'm not desperate for money like I used to be, so it's not such a big deal for me to trade stuff in. So I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, I keep the discs. I especially keep discs for like huge games like Elder Scrolls and things like that. But
yeah, just digital because I know I'm never gonna get rid of that.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm definitely leaning more that way now, and I'm far more likely to if I'm sat on the couch and I'm just browsing games, I'm far more likely to dig into the libraries of stuff that I haven't played digitally than to get up off the shelf and look at the physical copies. Although almost, I would say 20% of the VR games I own or PSVR games I own are digital. Sorry, physical, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I just liked having physical copies.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb. The reason because VR you have to take the headset off to go do it.
Yeah.
That the VR to me has to be 100% digital.
But also, if you're selling that unit to get a second unit or whatever, then having like a big stack of games to give that person, I feel like is like gonna help out. So
I never sell games.
I was looking to the future.
I never sell games. But anyways, this is Indie Please Add Details, episode 8. If you guys, I would love to hear their thoughts on what would make you buy a game early on a different platform. Obviously, we're lucky and already own both platforms, but Cuphead. And I mean, that's technically an Xbox exclusive, but like PUBG, would that make you buy an Xbox One because it's coming there first? If it does, let's use the hypothetical that it is coming to PS4, which it sounds like it is at some point. Would it make you buy it there, or are you going to wait for the PlayStation 4 version? Or do you just not care at all? What game would make you do that? Jump on one earlier than the other? What's the time frame? That kind of stuff. So
are you looking at things like graphics and all that kind of stuff as well? Because there's so many of those comparison videos whenever a multi-platform.
I can't even tell the fucking difference. Other than I can tell the difference now between the Pro and the Xbox One and the PS4 lighting wise. That's about the only thing I can see. But I'm also trained to look for that.
I need a 4K fucking TV.
No, you don't need one.
Well, I have the Pro, so it would be nice.
Yeah, but you don't need one.
I want one.
You want one. There's a difference. Wants and needs are different, Tom. But anyways, this is Indie. Please add details.
When did
episode
he
8.
become the adult?
That's a good question. This is our weekly dip into the indie world and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the weeks, where we spotlight a couple games. In this case, 2.5. Well, technically 3 games, but 2.5 spotlights. We top it all off with a topic discussion that you can join. If you want to follow the discussion, either on or offline, follow us at Twitter at Level 2 Gamers STL. I couldn't think of it, and I was like, I get to come up with a voice. Level 2 Gamers STL. Or you can hit us up on Discord. Discord's been real active lately. Or you can listen to us on podcast services. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, whatever one you choose.
Everyone that is already doing that. It means a lot.
It's crazy. We were talking the other day where I feel like, not that numbers are everything, but I posted the other day that it's really interesting that our listening audience is probably 4 to 5 times larger than our viewing audience. And that's, no knock on you guys, because when I do podcasts, I do both. So it depends on what my situation is. So like I listen or watch Kind of Funny every day.
I mean, you get something both out of each, don't you? If you do the audio one, then you can listen to it in your car or on your transit.
If you do the video one, you get to see some things that they might have.
If you do the video, you get the backdrops, you get the gameplay footage, you get to see our faces,
the trailers, all that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. So, but yeah, thanks for joining.
But anyways, that was episode 8 of Indie Please Add Details. Thank you guys so much for watching.
And as always,
welcome to the second level. Bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.